ये है brown bacon.
Hi Vibhor, welcome to the Ground Bacon.
Hey Deepak, thank you for having me.
How's it going? How's your
All
day
good,
like?
all good, yeah. Working day and nights.
Yeah. So today we're gonna talk about AI for the 599th time in last 1 week. Are you excited?
Oh, way too much.
Um, okay, so maybe tell us a bit about yourself, what you've been doing, a little go through about your journey.
Yeah, I've been in the creative industry for 10 years now, and just with interest, no formal education. So, and like even for like again coming to like tools like AI, also my passion perfectly aligns because I anyways were learning things by myself. So whatever's new, I was learning. So anyways, not their case ki like someone will teach me what's the history of art, and then I'll learn it.
Yeah.
I was anyways gonna learn everything from Google. So whatever's new, I was learning, and yeah, उसके अलावा तो like I've been working in same marketing design side, working on ad campaigns, internal stuff, all sort of marketing digital work, and yeah, building teams in the same way, building campaigns and all that, and in the end trying to build the brands.
What I absolutely love about your journey is that like we've been friends for some time, and most of the time we are just talking about work and like what's gonna be the next big thing. What I absolutely like about your journey is that you were at a company and you kind of saw it unfolding. Like I'm talking about Blinkit. uh, how was that journey of people not knowing about this brand at all to know to something like that was probably one of the biggest company that you've seen at that time? Maybe about if you tell us a bit about that.
So not Blinkit. I was when I was there, it was Grofers, and till
Oh
my
yeah.
career, it was end-to-end Grofers. I left when it became Blinkit. Uh, and what's different for Grofers than every other startup at that time was we were not like very youth-centric type of company. We were not that like we didn't have to become like a hip, young, funny type of company. We the main target audience that we realized for Grofers was like tier A cities, but not tier 1 cities, but not tier 1A tier. It's like tier 1 but B, C, or tier 2 type of cities. Uh, Thinking more value for money rather than just convenience cost and overpaying on convenience and all that. So that really like was a different I would say game altogether when we were looking at competition work, like how Zomato was doing, what Swiggy was doing, and uh, because all were in the delivery
Zomato
space.
and Grofers started at the same time.
I think Zomato started probably 3-4 years before
Hmm.
Grofers, and then
And
Grofers.
Grofers, Zomato only acquired Grofers, right?
In the end,
Yeah.
Zomato acquired Grofers, then it became Blinkit. Uh, but yeah, because it was like a very value for money kind of company, or our target audience was mostly in tier 2 cities, like so, and not even in tier 1 cities, but like the audience like tier 2 who don't want to pay like the way we do every time, like overpay for Swiggy and all that. So creating content, but not in every like hip colloquial whatever, like trendy way, but finding nuances and emotional angles to it, and relating more to family audience than just a young college graduate was a different game altogether. uh, which also I kind of feel now ki, like if would have done that my portfolio would have been more interesting. But yeah, at least it taught me like how to really nail down when you're writing the communication, because we had the strategy and all very hardcore locked in.
Yeah.
And so it was very easy for as creative people in the team to figure out different ideas and brainstorm on different ideas. And uh, like we don't have to chase our marketing head for every other new campaign. Kya, tell us the brief and then we'll give you a design work. We had that brief written down across throughout the year, so like we can sit in January and think for Diwali campaign, because we know the main brand thought is this. So whatever the campaign is gonna come in, we have to think, okay, this plus Diwali is something that my brand's gonna speak. So now we have to think, okay, like what do I make for it? Should I make a ad film, social contest, and all that? But yeah, I was there like for 6.5 years, or
That's a long time. I'm sure you had a a great design leadership there, like marketing
Yeah,
team.
my our all the marketing heads, like strategy head, brand head, analytics head, all those people were all like low lintas, like 15 years in JWT, 10 years in jail, those kind of people. My creative head were like probably 8-10 years in Ogilvy, then four
Oh,
five
wow.
years 4 5 years in this, and like has wo like one show award or Cannes and all those in their portfolio. So yeah, I mean like and for me who have no experience of art and design, and I joined Grofers when I only had like what less than a year experience in the professional world, and will be coming from engineering from
Yeah.
literary tier 3 city of
Yeah,
Rajasthan. So
but
was a
I'm sure you
different
had some kind of a like skill set that they were looking for.
software skill set probably.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the only thing that I kind of learned in engineering, like you can build things by
Hmm.
learning.
Yeah, I
So
mean
that's the
that's
only
a
theory I
yeah,
learned. So
yeah, that's a prerequisite being in India, right?
yeah, you have
Become an
to.
engineer first, then I thought designer you wanna become. Okay, like one first to do engineering. I think
Uh,
this is also one of the things that just comes out of our conversation because most of the people who have been on the podcast are engineers turned designers. I mean, a lot of them, not
I think
most of them.
engineering has become like 11, 12th only
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because uh,
Well,
I don't know because I think nowadays it would be different because the people who are graduating
yeah,
right
yeah,
now
yeah.
have like full awareness of what kind of careers
There
are
are
there
2,000
and
colleges teaching design, by the way.
now not just design but I think all the careers have full visibility right now. Like
Yeah.
you can go out and meet people and they'll be from different industry, and like that visibility of different industries and being successful in different industry is much more visible. Back in the day it was like you are only like a traditional business people,
Yeah.
or if you're private job so you're engineering or doctor, that's it. Like because if you're civil, if you're like architecture वगैरह, तो interior guys were not getting paid that much
Yeah.
क्योंकि that was I guess like it was just the time of not spending too much. That's why
Yeah.
like all those fields were not visible, but now
Yeah.
those fields are visible, so people like parents and all were not hesitant to like get
Yeah.
their kid to get into that. So
What
it was a
what I could understand from what you mentioned, your team at Grofers, founders must have had a vision. Like they must have had a great vision that okay, we need to build a brand. Whatever product we are building, it needs to be communicated well. I think that because I mean, not a lot of founders even today. Like considering we have so many examples, people have built and sold companies, but there are not a lot of founders who are giving value to brand building, and I think this is almost 8 9 years ago. They like these founders must have been like they must have an idea that okay, they need to build a brand and maybe onboard people who are super creative.
I think modern tech may is much more sorted that founders have a vision already. Not exactly in terms of what the brand will look like, but the brand will feel like is basically what they anyways have to define.
Hmm.
Uh, at Grofers time, because it was such a new stage in terms of just e-commerce altogether. Uh, because like what Flipkart was open like only 3 4 Flipkart Zomato kind of both opened 3 4 years before Grofers. So that like the whole stage of building that business was completely random. Nobody knew what was the profitable model. Are we creating demand? Are we this model will work out with scale or whatnot? So there was this confusion with everybody, so they knew what the brand would look like from like the tone of it, but exact business model was not really there for anybody. So at Grofers time it was like I think for the founders Grofers also became like a big playground for them. So I have worked on multiple brands for Grofers within Grofers, which kind of got shut down within a year already.
Oh, wow, like brands trying to sell only on
No,
Grofers.
Grofers mini brand type projects.
Oh,
We
okay,
created
okay.
our own something. We established it, ran it for 6 months, then shut it down because it worked.
Why there was
Again,
no demand or like brand wise?
no, we were just figuring out all different models that would
Hmm.
work. Like I think nowadays maybe companies are more cautious, or maybe we don't know it from outside. But internally, if you're working at some any other company, you would see like a lot of these opportunities. Like they acquire something, they figure out a new model, then they figure out a team of 10 20 people. Okay, okay, run this show for 6 months. Let's see if it works out. Doesn't work out. There's demand. There's requirement for it, and it works out. That's fine. If it doesn't work out, they shut it down and they move out.
Hmm.
So
Very
I
interesting.
worked for like there is this shop no on airports, WS store
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah.
Tata ka something.
Oh, I thought it was a. Yeah, I think it was
uh,
a global brand or something.
it looks like that,
It's a
but I
yeah. It has a very international
I don't know,
this
I
thing.
think it's owned by some Indian company only,
Okay,
I don't know. Not sure
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it. क्या है.
yeah.
But the idea remains कि it's a basically small shop which is like a not exactly full kirana, but like a small convenience store which has
Yeah.
everything in there. So we opened something like that. We opened it in offices. We opened that in uh, corporate parks. Then we extended it and created another brand out of it to open it in society of grocery stores, no?
Yeah.
So we created something like that. Then we tried different angles for it. One was fancier version, one was desi version.
I'm just curious about how you were brainstorming. Like, so was it like marketing, business and brand team working together? Like brand marketing can be the same thing, I guess. But like, how are you like
No,
usually
when
like stuff like decisions like these
no,
is
if you're working in a startup, I think if you're working in a big company, so those decisions will be more thought out and everybody involved. But if you're working in a startup, those decisions will come from completely random discussions, and then if it works out, so like if for example somebody in strategy pitched out, yeah, we should extend into this as well, and it's the idea sounds solid. So it won't be like the whole marketing team and design and everybody's band will be aligned to do that a project like that. They'll just create, okay, you have a strategy guy, take this few operations people, and these are few of your some random people in the company who want to do this. Whatever the department role is doesn't matter. They're saying, yeah, I'll do this. Forget what my role is. I'll just do it. So that kind of pod comes together and then they build it. So it's very non-logical way of building. It's just like we are sitting in an open ground, all our friends, we know this is what we
Yeah.
want to build, and mota we all know कि अच्छी क्या, if you make this, I might need to create everything organized in Excel. So ठीक है, I'll forget, I'll make Excel sheets.
Do you think it still goes this way?
हाँ, it still goes this way. Even at Razorpay as well, it works at Grofers as well. It's the same as Zomato and all as well. And I think it's every other startup. It's think of it ki, I think in startups, or because I've only worked at startups, I don't know what MNCs and all do. But in startups, it's all kind of like the culture is very important. So the culture itself is here. We are one bunch of people who are all collected for this one particular vision to make Razorpay grow, for example, or make Grofers grow. So whatever the task is, now we don't have to worry about what to do to I don't have to see my job in this part is just design, or I'll just do design for it. My job is to, okay, I have been given, I'm in the 10 people who will build this. So now
Yeah.
what, no matter what is coming in this zone, okay, like for example, I was in the discussions also about okay, how do we store our stuff in that, when we present that store, what
Yeah.
would we do? So now that was not exactly a designer's role. We probably would have consulted somebody else, but we will have no consultation. It's like a 5-10 friends joining together and thinking, ki, okay, we have to build this. Now let's figure out what to do. So that's like in startup within the startup.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same model at Razorpay as well. And I think everybody who's experimenting very fast or doing things very fast, which is kind of like most startups, that's how the model kind of works out. It's only when you are we are already thought of or ran the experiment for some time and know it's viable, it's logical, then you kind of like streamline it, organize it. Okay, now the operation needs to go to operation team, logistic needs to go to logistic team and all that. So even the people who were like doing I remember the people who were opening all the these dark stores and warehouses back in the day were like, now dark store work is very common, like everybody knows Swiggy has dark stores.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like it was not
Yeah.
even a word when we were like opening those stores. So
Yeah.
I know the people who are working on the operation side of it were just completely randomly like, when they are joining the company, they had no clue what is the definition of this role. I'm a property dealer. What am I doing? Because I'm going around all day long and just figuring out, okay, there is a big space. How much is the rent? Can I do this and this in there? Do the government paperwork is done? Well, yes, ठीक है, I'll open a warehouse there. And this going to 2 kilometers to the next colony and then figuring out. So what is the role? There's no exact definition of what is the role. So again, I think this within startup model still works.
Yeah, I'm sure there's someone as we speak looking for a dark store to be set up, I think people are making. Do you think people are making businesses out of
I think
this?
there are reels about it ki you
Oh.
can do this and this. I just saw a reel
Okay.
ki you can open your own dark store.
Yeah, it's like a recurring income of sorts, no? Like you get.
Huh.
It's like if you have a like in India, if you have like a space that you can rent, ask a bank to set up an ATM, and you get like crazy rent. At
correct.
least this is what I've been thinking. Like
If you have
hearing
like
for.
a market shop life type space, main road type
Yeah,
space,
yeah.
so you can do it.
Yeah.
I think property values always grows like
Yeah.
this.
Awesome. Were you also since it was like a platform where a number of brands were, kept, were you also working with different brands for in terms of campaigns and stuff? Like, for example, were you doing like Grofers X Coca-Cola or
Yeah.
something?
Once in a while we did it. We did one so we used to do not too heavily, but I have done one campaign with Kit Kat some time back, and we had this model where, like, we once in a while used to pitch and partner with particular brands and do campaigns with them. So 2016 type something, 16, yeah, something. I did a campaign with Kit Kat. Sorry, it was Rakhi. So you want to do a campaign for Rakhi. तो रक्षाबंधन के लिए we thought of कि, like, we want to take the idea they thought of was kind of connected to taking a break and, like, taking that time to spend as brother sister moment together. So because the idea was coming very close to, like, taking a break and all, and because we were sitting at Grofers, we had partnership with all those different, like, FMCG brands. So we pitched the same idea to KitKat and we did a partnered campaign kind of with them. So अच्छा था, but वैसा opportunity रहता था, but again I think Grofers itself has like multiple uh, private level brands in it, and then I had to be part of all those smaller experiments as well. कि okay, like we are opening a tuck shop now, I'm part of that. We are opening this thing, I'm part of that. So
Yeah.
वह चलता था. We had our private label also, so that also went very extensively. Uh,
Yeah.
so then our campaign shifted to that. कि, like, I want to do a campaign, but I already have a brand for it.
Vibhor, tell us about your shift from working in a company like a company that was consumer brand,
B2C to B2B.
FMCG consumer brand to a fintech. Like, how did this happen, or were you like done with all the brand world for FMCGs, or it just happened? Because I think what we've been talking a lot about work, and what I've also noticed from the outside and a little from the inside is the kind of work you guys are doing. And we did a podcast with Saurajit. He mentioned some amazing things that you're doing, and I genuinely feel that more people should know about the experiments you're doing, how you kind of pushing the limits inside your team. So yeah, tell us about the shift and like what you've been doing at Razorpay.
I think this is also a very big shift that happened in recent time only, because B2C also kind of exploded and B2B also kind of exploded and has like a front foot face as well. I think you would still find a lot of tech companies, 100, 200 people companies who are sitting in like smaller towns and just doing backend technology for people, right? They are building websites, they are building softwares and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
Uh, but the companies that are like in, I don't know, like in a bigger scale, I have also changed their model of doing those things. So say, for example, like, you're working at Grofers or any other B2C company, Swiggy and all that. So you would always know that there's something next that's gonna come up, right? You always have to be following the trends, have to continuously follow that narrative or whatever the trending is happening. So, like, I don't know how many social trends I've seen at like middle of the night and saw ki, like, I've already seen 5 people make this trend. So
yeah,
our social group kind of come together ki, like, are you guys seeing this post? Well,
yeah,
I also saw this one reel. None of the brands have done it. So next morning, our first post needs to be following the trend also. So, but now B2B companies also have kind of evolved, and I'm lucky to be in Razorpay for that sense. Or I guess like nowadays, so like all the other companies also have changed to the same game, where it's not just a backend per sitting a technology, like, 110,000 engineers just doing the work, and there's no branding and all for it. So Razorpay, and I guess like every other company like these days, like PhonePay is mix of B2B and kind of
yeah,
B2C as well. Uh, but even like I look up this company called Skydo. It's an international payments company.
yeah,
I just saw this company because I work at Razorpay, so I have to look at
yeah.
them.
Is
But
it Indian?
right, probably Bangalore
Okay,
guys
okay,
only.
okay.
But the way they are also like, so they have like, they are making all the social reels and like all those trends where, like, somebody's like kind of falling and then stops falling, and then are you waiting for me to fall, and then they kind of explain
Yeah,
you know that's how your market rates fall and
yeah,
whatnot. So uh, I think like I still know people who are in, like, Jaipur and Delhi, and they have like they are like owners of a 200 people company, and they are all tech engineers and they are building products and all that, but there is no front of it, right? There's no, they are not posting anything ki like, we are like the top company or this is our vision, all that. There's nothing. It's just a back end pure engineering, which is actually the B2B used to be, right? This was not how
Yeah.
uh, B2B is right
They were
now.
always silent builders,
They were
right?
always in the back end.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so now B2B is also kind of evolved. And I
Yeah.
guess like I was very happy. So when I joined Razorpay, like everybody like older than me was telling me, "Ki, yaar, why are you going to a B2B finance? Will be like, B2B is the boring
Yeah, it's
side."
like the, probably the opposite that you could think as a creative brand
Exactly.
person.
Everybody was telling me ki if you're going there, then like your life will be just decks and boring reports. That's it. Why? Because B2B company have been traditionally decks and reports.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Like,
Or and
maybe 3-4 years ago, like,
that's the point.
yeah,
Like that is still true. It's not that
yeah,
my
yeah,
job is not Dex and
yeah,
was bold
yeah,
Dex and all. My team is, and even for like me as well. I've been doing Dex and those generic like multiplication or Dex on like for the longest time, and we have to have a dedicated team for it who's just doing Dex and what like not even like creative wala deck. It's just deck. You just get a deck, clean it up, send it back. All you can do is streamline your processes, make different templates and make different color schemes and all that to manage
yeah,
it. But the shift that has happened for the overall B2B industry itself is like, people, those companies have become like they just kind of forgot ki, like, they have to sit at the back foot of it. So they're just promoting the companies the way a B2C company would, and just the end consumer is a business rather than a end like local any everyday human being. So
Hmm.
that's the only difference, and I guess it's just a shift in the like ecosystem itself, which, and then once those companies are given they're taking that shift, then as a creative it's like an open ground for everything, right? So now
Yeah,
I can also follow the same trends, I can also follow the same kind of creative liberty. I just have to see ki, okay, like I'm not uh, anyways, when I'm also saying ki I'm targeting for a business, it's not that ki, like whole 5,000 people of that company is going to look at my work.
yeah,
I am anyways going to talk to that one singular person of that company, right? I'm going to talk to one single particular product manager or maybe one singular finance guy. That lever of thinking, yeah, we talk to businesses, so we don't have to present ourselves as like, aesthetically, beautifully or whatnot. We have a strong tech, we have a strong team to build tech, or we have process to build tech. So we just sell that portfolio and all. So that game has changed altogether, which is, I think, was the perception a lot of people
yeah,
gave me
yeah,
कि यार you're gonna join
yeah,
fintech, so how it's gonna be. But I'm very lucky कि यार यहाँ वाले all the marketing people over
yeah,
here did not came to from that mindset also, and also had that mindset कि यार why does B2B have to be just like
yeah,
B2B like that.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that also probably started from the founder's
yeah,
vision as well कि like we
yeah.
don't want to sit in the back foot of it and then do things like normal B2C would.
Yeah, I mean, it's we were just talking about it before this conversation, and like suddenly, so I think cred keeps coming. When we talk about having a boring product or like a boring industry, and doing something creative. At the same time, I feel it's a missed opportunity if B2B brands are not B2B companies are not building brands. What do you think was the opportunity, or is the opportunity for like all these boring B2B companies to be like creative, communicate creatively? And Razorpay, like for example with Razorpay, it's they're also selling to normal people, like consumers in a way, who are trying to do business and stuff like that. So maybe they can be a little creative in terms of having local languages, doing things in that. But at the same time, there are super even more technical brands who are trying to build a brand. Why do you, what's that shift is all about according to
See,
you?
I'll tell you. Okay, to give two part of the answer. First is B2B and B2C. The main primary difference is in a B2C product, you can buy it with impulse. You don't have to really understand the particular value of a product and then buy it
Hmm.
as an end consumer.
Yeah, great
No
point.
matter who you are, right? You wanna buy a chips or you wanna buy a shoe, you can, like, I would just go to Nike, and because I know ki Nike does most comfortable shoes, so I'll just buy it. I'll just keep on exploring the different options even if I don't find the comfortable one, right? Because I just know that feeling of it. In a B2B world, you have to actually test it out and then apply it. You cannot apply any random thing because you thought it's good,
Yeah,
right? You have to carefully curate it for yourself. Yeah, this thing really works out for me because of this reason, and all those metrics are working out as well. Because like for example, I'm taking something to save my time, then it should really save my time.
Yeah.
I'm taking something that is gonna like multiply my revenue or something, then it should really multiply the revenue. So that is the primary difference as a company wala point. So from the creative side, you have to kind of balance it out, and then create campaigns in the same way. Like I cannot. So I think for B2B companies, the value that they add is again coming from the boring work of decks and all. But how do you get to the top of the mind of the customer?
Yeah.
We can then build it with the creative part of it. For example, Razorpay stands like, again, Razorpay, if you just ask randomly to people, okay, it's a payment gateway, it's a fintech company, payment gateway, might have some other products and not. But from the inside, I'll tell you, okay, it's a money movement company. We works in all sort of money movement type of businesses के use case. There is no ऐसा product कि you can open your phone and click on this app and start using it and do something, unless you're a business. If you're a business, now there are multiple things. Now it's in you go to Razorpay, figure out which product is useful for you, be it salary side, loan side, growth marketing side, payment gateway, offers on payment gateway, whatnot. So you can build all of those. Or second thing, why companies so to sell all this logic and to get to the top of the mind of the customer, the traditional way was doing कि, okay, you're building the product. If you are able to build the product successfully for somebody else, so you can just put together a deck and say कि, see, I do this, you take my product and this is the value you'll get. And the other person will read कि, okay, this is the value I'll get. If they see कि, हाँ, this thing has value, they will take it, right? To get to the top of the mind, if you are visible more, so you will be in the top of the mind, then the conversion will be easier.
Yeah.
But the conversion will actually happen when the numbers are right, no matter how top of the funnel or top of the mind you are. Design can definitely help you get to top of the mind because of continuous awareness, the quality of design and all that. But again, design is very careful. But I think B2B companies have also evolved to the model ki how do you build that thought also, which is kind of carried with you rather than the actual functional benefit of it. So I think every product, when marketing guys are writing the strategy, there's a emotional benefit and there's a functional benefit, all of it, right? So it's valid on both sides, right? You even for you're buying a dishwashing soap, or sorry, like a cloth washing soap and all. So you would know okay, like this one dilutes more, this one dilutes doesn't, it stays with you more. And in B2B also the same case, like this one generates value more and this one does not generate that much value. But from selling perspective, creative definitely gives you an advantage to present it very nicely. And what really gives you an advantage is if you do the design nicely, then it also reflection ki the brand overall thing that you are doing would be also nice, because that part which is just for the presentation of it is done so thoughtfully and so carefully, and so it is so meticulously crafted. Then the perception also comes out ki, okay, like these guys would do product also with the same integrity. So that's the advantage that B2B company also kind of get when they do design like this. And I think that's the same way, you would trust cred to be, like if you do a cred say payment, you would trust it to be successful.
Yeah.
Right? It would not, and the website would not be like janky like HDFC ka credit card website. It would be a good quality page HDFC cred has created for payments, because you would know, because like cred is putting so much effort into the design side. So you would assume ki yes, they are putting the same kind of effort in the back end of things as well.
Yeah, if it's backed by good business, then I'm a big fan. But I think I absolutely love what you just said, like how it's aligned to the sales, like how good design, good communications align to sales well. I think that's something also these folks have. And why do you think it's like fintech is suddenly a hot thing, and like suddenly there are a lot of brands trying to solve for Gen Z's, wealth management and stuff like that. Why was it missing maybe 5 years ago or 8 years ago?
I don't know, it's just my theory, but I think like look at how much time we are spending on mobiles and computers and screens and all that, and how much technology has become part of like whatever Microsoft, Bill Gates have thought of vision years ago कि our computer will be in every place of the life. Now it's really a reality, right? Now computer is part of everything. Now everything is computerized. There's not one thing that is not computerized, right? Everything you can get as mundane as possible, you can get computerized. So there are companies who make the front and all for it, and there are companies who make the back end for it. So I think that's why like even fintech or any other B2B company in the tech side is very successful also right now, because uh, like Samsung would want to make a TV, but there must be somebody who's working on just making the operating system. There would be
Yeah.
somebody just making
Yeah.
one particular set of chip,
Yeah.
or somebody would be just there making ki, okay, I'll just make sound technologies better. That's it. So that's why like the backend space is also very
Yeah.
heavily used, and obviously like tech has completely taken over anything. And like for example now, cars were used to be still now if you look at the car like a Maruti type of brand car, like 20 years ago and now, so like those now
Yeah.
even the car was like a very advanced machine na, as
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
your day to day every other thing, like
Yeah.
water supply pure analog, then car was industrial. Now that industrial also has like computerized chip and all into it, so now everything is getting
It
into that
has so
zone na.
many screens and like less
हाँ, तो अब
buttons.
now like उसमें भी सेंसर आ गया है, उसमें भी
Yeah.
there are a lot of things are there.
I think I've been seeing a lot of posts on Twitter and LinkedIn as to how these petrol heads, automotive heads, wants to bring the buttons back, because I think it becomes very overwhelming just to add another screen to your life. I think at least in my
Only thing I've driven in last few years was a cycle. So I don't know whatever is
yeah.
happening with the car market.
Yes, same here as well. Just I think I try to be at least a little mindful, like considering I am on my laptop or my iPad or my iPhone, but um, like by not have like adding like a watch, like an Apple Watch to like another screen to my life. I think yeah, like there are a lot of brands with. I think dark UX pattern is has become so common, right? This term. What do you think about this? Like Zepto's been a lot of people are just like thrashing them with the dark UX patterns and many more apps. So I think this suddenly it has become super common for like dark patterns to be added in products. How are we moving forward? Like how do you think with so much out there, how are we people building trust and like brands should keep in mind? Even with Razorpay, like okay, this is I think what I've felt with fintech brands is that by working with them, like with a couple of brands, is that you can't be too funny, like you can't be too witty, or maybe you can. I'm not really sure, but maybe at least with like Indian crowd, people are maybe not open with such witty communication, because maybe they are talking about money in the end.
See
I
again,
mean,
it's the same. It's the
do you
same.
work on such things? Do you think that that
It's a
matter?
regular thing that you have to think of. And the thing is, ki, I don't know, matlab, being in Razorpay and the money side, like what is there to joke about? When you think of it ki like whatever matlab, I just look at it ki okay, like we are sitting at designers, right? We get a campaign idea ki let this could be a very good joke about something, but think of it ki like my CTO or CFO is going into a call with some other CTO. They have the other guys has millions on stake. That one call is basically, and it's like a 3 month long conversation to get a conversion, or probably 2 month long conversations to get conversion on that particular product. Because again, one deal is gonna be like a crores of deals. Now think of it ki at that moment everything is tech spec. It's everything is hardcore ki, okay, how do you do this? Is this compliance ready? Is this government backed? Is this like everything is RBI aligned, every detail? Because the other guy is also saying that I'm like already IPO public company or whatnot, I have audit, so nothing can go wrong. So no matter what funny communication you make does not make any sense, because it's not key like yes, Zomato I'll follow, look at a lot of funny content and all, that funny joke will stay in my mind, and that's why I'll just keep on opening Zomato again, because like notifications are funny, I'm taking screenshot of notifications and sending to people and all that. Because in the end does not matter, right? It's not a serious thing that when I'm doing the conversion, when I'm doing the actual shopping on it, it's not that careful or thought through of a decision. Whatever option I'm gonna choose is the same gonna, it's the same cost is gonna come to me. But when you look at fintech, the that humor, it does not get translated in the real world for us, right? The joke is basically in the whole marketing and internal silos, right? You cannot translate that joke into the when the real conversion is happening.
Yeah.
Think of it like somebody, if you're going into a meeting with very big clients, Swiggy type of enterprise businesses, now what's funny to be in there in that meeting? right?
Yeah.
If you are just like, if they're asking care, like, you are gonna, how is my hundreds of millions of customer ka data gonna get organized, and I'm gonna see every other transaction, each and every step. So what's the joke? Where are you gonna find a joke about it? There's nothing to be laughing about it
Yeah.
now. So that's why the funny and all directly don't translate into that kind of business. Now you can obviously make a joke about ki, okay, like, your traditional business has this missing, so ha ha ha, and then you take Razorpay and ha. Okay, that will get you eyeballs, but when you take that
Yeah.
product actually to the sales guy, like when the sales conversation happening, that reel has no value to it. Like now
It's
everything
maybe
is,
good for the brand recall or
yeah,
like,
it's just for top of the mind, but in
yeah.
real sense it does not really like a workout,
Yeah.
because, and again, a lot of products in the B2B side, at least in the tech B2B side, is tech, right? So doesn't even need to have like a full front end about it. You will show a front end, somebody will understand ki, yeah, so you're talking about this kind of app, you're talking about this kind of product.
Yeah.
The whole thing is an algorithm. It's just a dashboard or something. So how do you communicate that? So the whole game is all different altogether. So उस तरीके से we have to deal with things. But again, I'm lucky that Razorpay is not थोड़ा सा finicky about just the boring stuff,
Yeah.
or how B2B companies used to be back in the day. Now everything is like fully open. So like
Yeah.
one day we get as a, like, we spend 3 hours एकदम hardcore working on deck and just doing proper deck design, and the next project we are doing is pure, like, well, we are making an AI film out of something. So now that's a completely
Yeah.
different filmmaking job. So that's a good beauty over here.
No, yeah, not just that, but also how you and the team are, maybe breaking all the limits. I'm not. I don't have much info about your team and what's going inside the company, but I know you personally, Vibhor. You've been pushing. I've been closely seeing you how you're coming up with new processes every other week. There's some or the other tool that you're exploring and kind of not just like trying to push your limit, like upskilling yourself, but also trying to execute into processes, brand systems and stuff. How, like, just want to know your mindset, and how are you navigating this phase of like AI takeover?
I would say from the mindset, so it's the labor mindset. I'm in the mindset of just doing labor. You ask me
Hmm.
कि ये घर कैसे बनेगा, तो I know कि ठीक है यार, I need bricks, I need cement, I need 5 people to build it, and that's all I'm basically thinking. Yes, I'm also thinking कि यार, obviously what would this mean?
Yeah.
So right, whatever we are doing, right, whatever campaign work or whatever art direction work or whatever thing we are doing, right, there are two aspects of it. First we look at the mood, right? When we set the mood of it, right, we have given a strategy, content and all that, then we set a mood ki, yaar, this will look this good which we use pixel direction, if we use as a hand printed art direction, then we look at the mood of it and everything. So that's one thing altogether. Then the part comes up ki how will I really execute it, right? When somebody gives me, I want to make a children's wala something, there's an environment, the kids gonna play, so you'll see ki ha, yaar, it needs to be very vibrant, colorful, lot of simulations should happen when a kid should come to that place, a lot of interesting creative elements are there where the kid's mind is just creating different stories around it, right? So that's the first mood board that we set up. Second step comes ki actually how will we really execute it, right? If it's an illustration thing, so we'll see ki yaar, acha, I need a very hardcore illustration, or somebody who does this kind of artwork, or somebody can, if it's a painting work, I'll see ki yaar, this person can really paint itna bada space and itna time. So that's the execution part of it. तो विथ नाउ, बिकॉज लाइक अब इतना टाइम तो हो ही गया मुझे भी काम करते करते कि आई नो हाउ टू फाइंड द राइट मूड बोर्ड, और कोई मुझे ब्रीफ देगा तो आई कैन फाइंड कि यार हाँ, ये ब्रीफ है तो दिस इज समथिंग दैट वुड
Yeah.
वर्क आउट.
Yeah.
ठीक है, वो तो ढूंढ ही लेंगे उस हिसाब से. फिर द सेकंड चैलेंज कम्स किया, इसको बनाएंगे कैसे, राइट? दिस अ सेकंड चैलेंज ऑलवेज वेन एवर वी हैव अ विजन कि यार ये करना चाहते हैं, तो सेकंड क्वेश्चन कम्स किया, बनाएंगे कैसे इसको ना, लाइक इसके लिए मेरे को टूल चाहिए होगा, इसके लिए मेरे को आर्टिस्ट चाहिए होगा, पेंटर चाहिए होगा. सो नाउ दिस इज वेयर लाइक माई माइंड इज कम्प्लीटली ऑन टू AI नाउ, कि अब आई एम नॉट थिंकिंग कि अच्छा, लाइक ना, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई टेल यू कि यार वॉल पेंटिंग करना है, तो ठीक है, वॉल पेंटिंग करना है तो पेंटर चाहिए आपको, दैट्स द ओनली वे. यू डोंट हैव लाइक दिस काइंड ऑफ रोबोट्स की विल डू द पेंट बाय देमसेल्फ. लेकिन all in lot of our digital work, we're basically all the print sort of work, we can do the design a lot with AI tools. So now my day to day is like all about ki yaar, how whatever the vision is, how to do it with AI, and just figuring out all different tools, all different technologies are there. Or even because uh, मैंने कब शुरू किया था, I started this in 23, I guess. तो 23 में ओपन एआई का आ गया था, मिड जर्नी का बिल्कुल बेसिक वर्जन आ गया था, लियोनार्डो वॉज देयर फॉर इमेज
Yeah,
जनरेशन,
yeah,
और कुछ भी नहीं था एक्चुअली.
yeah.
तो ओपन सोर्स टेक्नोलॉजीज आ रही थी, वो सब ऑटोमेटिक 11 डाउनलोड करके यू कैन वर्क ऑन इट, और यू डाउनलोड comfy UI and you work on it. So but when I was using those tools, I kind of were able to see कि यार, and because that was pure tech, it was actually a product directly made from engineer. There was no design UI UX guy sitting there to polish it up and make it usable also. It was just engineer figured out कि prototype बन
Yeah.
गया है और I made the paper live and it's done. But when you look at that prototype, then you see the vision actually कि यार क्या क्या possible है. Like if guy, so for example, there's thing called control net kind of thing, which is basically different ways the image is processed to create something. Now if I show it to another engineer, they will say कि हाँ, this is basics of image processing. मैंने कहा but हाँ, but I didn't know कि this is basics of image
Yeah.
processing or all that.
Yeah.
No. So when I look at that and I see that prototype, now I see कि यार this prototype can do design based on the prompt and also look at the outlines in my image and then create something out of it. Now this outline I can, now midjourney retexture is what you can just put in sketch and then ask it to retexture and color, create different color schemes and style output of the same layout. It's basically what it's doing. It's just taking that outline of the layout and do something. There is control net के अंदर there is a feature called body something, I forgot the name, but there's a control net and body pose, open pose, and there's a open pose full body, open pose just face, and all that. What it does is it looks at any human photo and analyzes the bone structure of it. So it just understands कि okay, like there is a neck bone, there is a head bone, there is a shoulder bone, then the shoulder bone is connected to hands bone, and that's how it just creates a simple linear bone structure of your whatever image you uploaded. So think of it, once you have it, now if you want to replicate 8,000 photos of somebody or like different people in same sort of setup or same kind of photos, so you can use that model and create like 8,000 portraits out of it. So and then open pose is also sort of extended to face detection, which is open pose face. You just add this with open pose canny to get the outline and something with like just a face swap or something, and then you have a full face replication model.
Yeah.
So I think because I was learning those open source tools first, I was able to see the like where the seeds were getting formed and looking at the where the papers are like releasing. And once you look at it, the product is coming up like 3 years later. Like Midjourney has those features now, like but those features were developed 3 years, 4 years ago. The papers was out and the demo was out. So एज अ डिजाइनर नाउ माई ब्रेन इज ऑल इन टू कि यार ये तो हो सकता है कैसे ना कैसे करके, बिकॉज यू नो कि देर इज सम मॉडल अराउंड इट, देर इज समबडी हैज क्रिएटेड वर्क फ्लो. एंड नाउ विद द क्रिएटिव व्हाट आई एम रियली सीइंग, और एटलीस्ट आई एम तो ओनली पुशिंग फॉर द सेम थिंग कि वी शुड बिल्ड रादर देन बिल्डिंग वैसा स्किल सेट, वी कैन थिंक ऑफ बिल्डिंग वर्क फ्लोज and train people on the workflows to like do a lot of that automatically, and you do the guardrails of something. You only decide the master, and the master ke aage ka this whole thing will be developed by AI, and you train your models and workflows to craft each and every step, and then you think like a product guy who's building a product end to end and just guiding end to end the construct of it. Jaise right, even like for example retexture wala funda, like now Midjourney is a default feature, but I had done it like multiple times back in the day. Luma Labs have just done this thing of video to video retexturing, so you can upload like a janky video of something and then ask it to retexture. So for example, you're sitting on a normal, like you just sit you just sit like a bike pose, and then zoom you just do as a shot, and then you ask it okay, this is basically a motorcycling wala footage and road, so now it will just retexture it to something. So now ऐसे ही सोचो तो ऐसा कोई लॉजिक नहीं है, but if you now really apply into this picture, now it's a completely VFX or replacement tool.
Yeah. I mean, it's like creative thinking mixed with like execution strategies. What I've also been seeing like a lot of like 3D folks making grayscale animatics, and that's getting converted to like a fully fledged.
Yeah, I mean, for now think of it here, I got a product photo shoot ka task of something in 3D. I have to create like different photos and mockups. So yes, one challenge would be to do make the 3D model and all itself. Now you can put an image, ask the 3D tool to do a 3D. It won't be perfect, it won't have the exact number of polygons that you would want, it would have more random details, but at least the first cut will be ready, right? So at least the AI will give you a job कि you have given this task to an intern gives you back, now you'll just clean it up. So at least one part of the job is already done. You can have to just clean this up. to do the color scheme and all that. Now you can take that same image, retexture it through Midjourney and all that, and look at different color scheme references. Now with the color scheme references, now to create those color scheme references, you were probably presenting a Pinterest earlier.
Yeah.
फिर वो Pinterest को translate करना would have been a separate task altogether. So again a different kind of workflow. But you can just go and retexture it, show different color scheme to client.
Yeah.
The client will also see ki, "Hi, this thing is looking nice. I want something like this." And then probably there's another. Now, if you put that image in your model and then ask another AI tool, do the lighting like this. It won't be 100%, probably just even 40% of what you would want to do. But at least 40% of something is done. Then you can just take the road ahead and take it to finish line.
Yeah. What
So-
this also does is to put your content generation on steroids.
Yeah, I think obviously, like the whole point of any technology is to move society forward and speed up this evolution, right? So that's what AI will also do.
Yeah.
And like the things, if like yes, no matter what you say, yeah, this thing takes 1 hour of time, 2 hours of time, 2 weeks of time, is gonna get drastically reduced.
Yeah.
Some or other person will gonna figure out a model okay to do it automatically. And like you can see, like right now there are reels about you can do email ka workflows, 1 month ka email automated with one click and all that. You
Yeah.
can do it now. I say बोलोगे I need 3 people agency to run my email campaign, but there is one tool literally
Yeah.
which does all of it.
This brought got one thing, one recent news to my head. Do you know about this guy called Soham on?
हाँ
Have you heard about
बढ़िया
this?
किया उस बंदे ने भाई, good और क्या.
Do you think we gonna have more Sohams in design? I don't think so for just some reason.
मतलब depend, like that guy उसका he also talked to some publications also ना. He was saying कि like I did 140 hours per week work, so he's working non-stop for everybody. I mean, he should not have taken multiple jobs इतना ज़्यादा, but
Yeah.
maybe if he was able to sustain 2 to 3 jobs तो और क्या, fuck it, fuck company rules like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think we are seeing more Sohams?
But again,
in
like
design?
depends यार. मतलब if you're really committed to one job and all that, so you will not be able to give any other time to anything else anyways. Like if the job is like that, you're interested in it, or it's like the space which has a lot of opportunity or give you open space to do a lot of things, you would anyways not find the time to do anything else, right? That's what when I sit in an internal agency and an internal team at a startup doing the creative team, I want to create an environment ki whatever creative satisfaction my designer wants should come out from my briefs only. I'll give you so many briefs open with all different directions. So whatever you want to do, there is an opportunity right here. So you don't have to go around anywhere else to do something else. Like even our marketing guy says the same thing. Ki I don't want my designer to chase the creative satisfaction somewhere else. Like probably that guy was chasing money or creative satisfaction, whatever the guy was chasing.
Yeah.
But obviously like but in the creative side कि अगर उसको मेरे को लगता है कि this guy wants to do typography, एकदम hand on brush work इसको करना है, तो I would rather find a brief for him to do वैसा वाला work internally, कि they don't have to like look for that kind of satisfaction somewhere else and
Yeah.
spend time somewhere else.
Yeah. I think why I said that designers are the ones who maybe we might won't see like a lot of Sohams in designs, because I think it takes a lot from you being a designer, and I think I'm definitely sure that you also have come across this with this article that was by this guy called Lenny, and he talked about how designers are the most burnt out professionals.
Yeah, oh, such a viral article.
Right. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, because na, kyunki there is no, see, there are only a few awards that you can go out and win,
Yeah.
and so like except for money, what matlab, other than it is just like you are just gratifying yourself or giving yourself the pain.
Yeah.
So
I
and
think they take-
and the whole thing is subjective anyways.
Yeah.
In the end of it, like the person you are selling it to does not know the objective reasons of it.
Yeah.
Probably in not
Because
all
I think
departments,
designers
yeah.
and creative people designers especially take everything very personally, like especially what they are doing. Like even me to a lot of
because we are artists, so that's the pain is already inbuilt in it. You will obsess over every tiny detail which is not even visible.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna notice it. But if it goes wrong, it will haunt you for night. Why? Because you're an artist. That's your job of it. So that's what we have signed up for. So I mean, there's no other way to it. Like uh, we make a video for a launch of a full tech based thing, right? It's not even like a consumer based tech, it's a purely engineering wale ka plugin, for example. ठीक है, the end consumer of it only wants to see the visibility, मतलब he just want to see कि हाँ this exists, okay cool, I'll download and start using it. So उसका decision making तो वहीं खत्म हो गया. यू एज अ डिज़ाइनर और ऑब्सेसिंग ओवर की यार मेरे लेआउट में वो अच्छा नहीं गया, मेरा ग्रेडियंट थोड़ा सा लीक हो गया,
Yeah.
फिर आप खुद दुखी हो रहे हो उस बात पे कि वो अच्छा नहीं गया, आई कुड हैव मेड द ग्रेडियंट बेटर. एंड कंज्यूमर बोले ठीक है, मतलब यू गेव मी अ
Yeah.
वीडियो,
Or maybe they won't. Yeah. Maybe this maybe that content gonna be very short lived, like most of
the
the time.
content also is all lived, but because I think that's
But
that's
your
just
suffering is longer.
your suffering is longer, like for, and the thing is ki for a designer it gets published, right? It's only one publishing,
Yeah.
right? For all engineering and all those things, it's a version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5 for some hypothetical version when it will be final, right? Apne it's get published, then it's done, right? I'm making a video for this launch, the launch is going to happen on 2nd July, it's done and it's out of the plate, I'm not going to fix it later and go on.
Yeah.
So that's why, so I'll obsess over to the perfection of it. So I'll, no matter what timeline I gotten, even good timeline or stress timeline, in both cases I'll super get obsessed over it कि यार एकदम perfect होना चाहिए, मैं इसमें कुछ और अलग कर देता, it needs to be portfolio worthy.
Yeah.
तो I cannot do something that I've done already, I want to do something completely. मैं तो burnout वाला बता रहा था, right? कि big, क्योंकि there's a fixed deadline. Actually it's because we are from art field, we have to obsess over every detail and the deadline is also fixed.
Yeah.
That's why we have to be like, so much on it ki yeah, I have to make it so perfect. And the pressure is also, even if it's a like kind of like an update or recurring kind of work for the company, for you it's a one time project. So for you, when you are selling it or when you are making it, you want to do here, I have already done this in my portfolio, so I want to do something different. So this challenge nobody's giving you, na?
Yeah.
Nobody's asking you to do something different in your portfolio, it's not given in the brief at all. That's the pressure we have already taken on ourselves ki by ki, हाँ, I want to make my portfolio like this.
Yeah.
So that's why obviously when you put all this pressure into, now this pressure is not written in the brief. That guy, the marketing guy, has not given कि I want to do something which is done in the first time in the world.
Yeah.
वो तो कह रहा है कि मेरा तो ये brief है, there's already a sample about it, just do the same thing and give me the result, I'll run it, I'm happy with it. आपको लगता है कि हाँ यार I want to do something that is I've never done
Yeah.
before, तो फिर pressure
It
किसने
becomes
बनाया?
very like the time it becomes very personal. I think that's
तो फिर आप बर्नआउट आएगा ही. सीए से
Yeah.
पूछो कभी जाके कि वो अलग कुछ कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, वो तो हर साल जाके एवरी कंपनी इज द सेम मॉडल ना फॉर डूइंग थिंग्स, वो
That's
नहीं
true.
होगा बर्नआउट.
So Vibhor, I'm just curious to know, like, so I think your team and the kind of work you're doing is communicating to millions and millions of people, right?
मिलियंस तो नहीं होगा, इट्स अ B2B कंपनी.
Not okay, maybe like lakhs.
हाँ
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, okay, I shouldn't. So even if there are not millions and millions of users, there are millions and millions of people who are seeing knows about the brand, right?
correct.
I mean, that's what I meant. So what do you think other a smaller fintech brand should do, and what in terms of building a brand? And I'm sure you already have like a brand recall. Sometimes what I've noticed is that a company has a great product, so product comes first, brand comes later. But today, like, if you're kind of reinventing the wheel, which a lot of companies are doing, how are you kind of distinguishing yourself in terms of creative positioning, communication, and what are the things new brands should do, like from first, like maybe top 3 top of the funnel things that especially like around BFSI space? And why I'm asking is also because we as an agency work with a lot of BFSIs.
I think, see, the logic of building the brand, तब भी the basic of marketing तो remains the same, right? You have to clearly present your value props, you have to clearly present your what makes you distinct, do the beautiful work around it to make it like readable and all that. Also have something which is pure advertising wala funda, which gives you top of the mind awareness, which is like which sticks rather than which you understand is and absorb is something different, which sticks is something different. So you have to do all those things to build a brand anyways. uh, I think people who are building just a service company or just a product company kind of focus on the value only that you are providing, but they don't think about the other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's basically because they're thinking, yeah, acha, I am to this kind of company, so I'll do just this and will be okay with this. But nowadays, because everybody can open their own companies, it's so easy to find talent, it's so easy to achieve your vision. uh, मतलब relatively easy, I'm not saying easy, but like
Yeah.
it's accessible, more
Comparatively, yeah.
more accessible to do all of it. तो उस तरीके से you can like kind of build everything like that, and uh, it becomes easier in that way. Or because it's easier, so a lot of people will be doing it. So now that logic of doing just this specific part or just other specific part would not just like do. So thinking it's I'll only make my product and I'll only make the service or I'll only do pitch decks will work out. You'll have to do everything.
It's of course relatively easy, but how difficult is it to build teams, right? I'm sure like there are a lot of skill set, and like even on the other side, what do you think are the skill set people should target for? Because I think now the bridges are like super blurry. Like, a lot of developers are doing design themselves, a lot of designers are trying to build build products and stuff. There are so many products that are uplifting designers to have their own products. Whatever, how difficult it has for you to build like a creative team, and how you like choosing people in terms of the skill set? Because I think specialists, like looking for specialists, are not anymore a requirement, or am I wrong about that?
So I think specialist, see, all creative tasks are divided between two parts. One is design thinking, and the second part comes to execution. Creative thinking is where you really think, yeah, if it's X kind of brand, then what kind of theories of design will apply to it? And the theory is basically like, and a lot of those questions can be answered by ChatGPT right now, right? If it's a wooden, if somebody says, I'm a nature brand, you go on Pinterest, you'll see a lot of those somber colors and brown and greens and all. So yes, ChatGPT will also suggest you that. But so that critical thinking, the generic version you can get from ChatGPT. For a lot of companies, you can do a generic version, get it out. For when a critical role is there or critical company, then you have to really nuance it, don't do generic solutions. But I think the primary skill set still remains this critical design thinking part. Ki why this theory applies to this solution, why this mood board is perfect for you, why this color scheme is perfect for you, why this style of execution is perfect for you. Then the second part comes when you set up the vision, ki ha, this is how I want to take this problem ahead. Then the second part comes to execution. I think a lot of our not, I would say not lot, but lot of the people, then we are thinking that they are specialists into one single zone, because they have only taken up that one thing of doing, okay, this kind of brief and this kind of execution, right? That's what we like a traditional definition of a specialist, right? Ki this kind of flawless statement this guy will treat in like this kind of format and will get this kind of output. This is basically evolved, I would say. Ki now so for hiring perspective and all, I kind of think in a way ki like the critical thinking, the design thinking needs to be solid. When I give that person particular problem statement, they will find the right mood board for it, which will be unique, which will be defined, which will be right for my brand, which will be a next step for my journey as a brand as well. This kind of idea will take my brand ahead. And then the execution part, I kind of I just check for people here, they are able to achieve that vision no matter what. So rather than looking at ki this person is like just Photoshop, just graphic, or just this, I'm okay with somebody just doing just graphic, just motion or whatnot. But that spirit here, whatever the vision is, this person will just do no matter what to achieve it, is the end game.
And do you think all like great creative teams should also become great at prompt engineering?
See, I think prompt engineering now will become literally UI for you sometime later.
Like a prerequisite of sorts.
Or it will dissolve, you will not even know ki you are doing prompt engineering. Like for, I'll tell you abhi aise, for example, uh, you work at some company, and your brand identity is red color or something, or you work at a food brand, okay? So obviously your shutterstock will be all full photo, all food photos, You work at Zomato, how many food photos you will go and download, right? You would have like thousands of biryani photos, you would have thousands of chaat pakodi wali photos, right? You would have a lot of it.
Yeah.
You are downloading from Shutterstock, you get to a photographer and shoot it. With AI, you will build a library of doing things. You will, abhi you are writing prompts to get that photo. Once you realize here these 10 styles are my go-to, so you will build your own models to do those 10 styling. That's all is predefined. So now you are writing prompt के अंदर वो specific part. Later you'll make a tool जिसमें all those stylings are predefined. You just go and then select styling and say कि यार बिरयानी दे दो इस shot के अंदर, या फिर you go and select styling C and styling C के अंदर आप बोलोगे कि मुझे इसका फोटो दे दो. तो now the tool is doing the prompt engineering. You are not doing prompt engineering. So
Yeah.
prompt engineering will become very integrated into the workflow anyway. It's not a, but फिर उसमें आ जाए कि if you don't know the process altogether, तब you will feel कि यार I don't even know how is this happening. Or I think this is the best time to learn it, because it's like वो बच्चा पैदा ही हुआ है अभी, उसके आपके सामने वो चलना सीख रहा है.
Yeah.
So now you will know ki what is happening with it. Is it going to walk or doesn't walk, or it has legs or not. Now you got to figure out and build your own things.
What's like the ultimate future scenario, like for say like a brand campaign or a website? What's like the best, like a ultimate?
There will be if you have seen Canva ka brand kit,
Mhm.
that if you have seen, there's an app called VV, WEAVY.
Yeah, I think you were talking about it some days ago.
That's the future of design.
What does that do? That VV
So
thing?
Canva ka brand kit, तो you can upload your own colors and fonts and
Fix
everything.
it
You can
up.
create
Oh, is it
predefined
that good
templates.
that you
हाँ,
had to
एकदम
mention?
मस्त. Oh, you
Okay.
can create templates. You
Yeah,
can even
I've used it.
you can create color schemes also separate. मतलब rather than making one master template of color scheme, you make 10 combinations of color palette out of a brand.
Very interesting.
And then now if you're working for a brand, you anyways going to work on 10 permutations anyways. Na? ऐसा, it's like 100. It's not going to be like 100 permutation of the same thing. It's going to be like 10 specific permutations, because you know कि this color needs to be 10%, this color needs to be 80%. So that restricts your permutations anyways. तो वो लॉकडाउन करना एक तरफ हो जाएगा. दूसरा पार्ट होगा how do you, where the creative parts gonna come up. Now for the creative part, you would need a lot of versatility to do, because sometimes going to be video, sometimes going to be graphics, sometimes illustration, sometimes hand drawn, sometimes going to something else, composition or whatnot. So a tool like VV basically gives you access to all different models, what are image generation, text based, chat based, video models, all those models into that one tool. But it's not a singular one tool at a time usage. So you basically create like a full node based workflow where you write a prompt, then you say कि अच्छा ये prompt होगा, इससे this image will be generated. Now this image has to be retextured into this. Now this retextured image will have to be done into a video, but now video needs to have this also, so I can just plug in another video and merge into this. So you can,
Oh yeah, that node based. It's
that
a node
node-based
based
thing.
ecosystem.
So
Yeah.
अगर मैं बोलता हूँ कि यार
Oh,
मेरे को एक कोई इलस्ट्रेशन बनाना है बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स वाला अभी, आई हैव अ पेंसिल ड्राइंग अपने दिमाग में कि यार ऐसा ऐसा मुझे चाहिए, एंड इट जस्ट थिंक आउट कि इट्स अ कोलाज probably, right?
Yeah.
It's a collage, but it's like a double exposure type of collage कि there is these individual elements also, but when you merge it together it's a one single picture as well. So I would then see कि what is the one single picture, how is that coming out, what are the individual shots that are there, how are those things created in a way that they are merging together in the right direction. So you can do with that tool basically merge and compile a lot of those all together. So I think the future होगा ना अपने softwares का, that will be like that कि we have like a very Canva heavy type of software which is not just Photoshop where you have to do everything manually, but all those features of Photoshop will become like advanced settings. Ki yes, you want to erase things with brush, so there is advanced setting. Otherwise you can just write it, make a selection, just say erase it, it erases it. But you want to really craft it, so you take your brush and then erase particular parts, put the new colors or whatnot you want to do it, advanced setting aa jayega. And I guess like when you look at Figma for communication design, it's basically like a reduced version of Illustrator, right? They removed every other version, every other feature of Illustrator and just make इतना सा Figma. मतलब I'm not talking about the company product design side, उनके लिए helpful है, but अपने लिए तो it's just a very reduced Illustrator. So
Yeah.
वैसा वाला zone है.
So I mean, in order to become like irreplaceable, you need to understand a bit of everything, like a bit of development, a bit of prompt engineering, AI tech,
नहीं नहीं, I think
marketing.
marketing, see, creative के अंदर to grow you need to understand marketing and strategy, right? Anyways, right? Your hard core will remain the same. The design thinking will still be the first principle. You as an artist, when you will be given a brief, if you are not able to understand the brief, not able to understand the context, the meaning, the write up, what kind of creative idea, the visual look and feel, the colors, the font, the weightage applies for it, you will anyways fail, no matter what tool you know. So that still remains the primary thing in the problem solving. फिर the second part will come out, because yes, you can do a lot hand-drawn work obviously on Illustrator. मतलब you look at hand-drawn, but again you are using a lot of Illustrator tools to do it. So that tool is basically getting a revamp. You are not getting a revamp. That tool is getting changed. So again, अब कोई somebody saying कि यार I only know how to make print artworks in Corel Draw is also a dinosaur right now, right? Corel Draw is not used in the commercial world anyways,
Yeah.
क्योंकि Mac तो support ही नहीं करता है, तो बात ही खत्म हो गई.
Yeah.
तो
But I think in tier 3, tier 4 cities is still like
वो
the
tier 3 में बन भी क्या रहा है ना,
yeah,
वो तो फिर आप
printing for, especially for printing.
बट तो
yeah, it's great.
फ्रॉम द, तो मुझे इतना ये तो लर्न करना होता है कि द इलस्ट्रेटर फाइल आई सेंड आउट
Yeah.
नीड्स टू बी कंपेटेबल विद कोरल. नाउ थिंक ऑफ इट कि द ऑल द फोटोशॉप वर्क आई कैन डू इज अ लॉट मोर ऑटोमेटेड. तो yes, you can go and crop things and clean it up and clear background and create background and put shadows and highlights and everything and merge your composition, or you can just make a selection and ask the prompt to do it. That will take more time. The somebody will doing with prompt will do it lesser time. So that way, like, you need to upgrade. And anyways, I think the main thing will still be the critical thinking, the design thinking, what applies, why it applies, which will only come from, like, having that awareness of the whole market and just doing a lot more referencing into it. Or with AI actually, because a lot of heavy lifting will be done by the tool, you can only focus on the vision, dedicatedly focus on the vision, and then use different tools to achieve that vision. Abhi, for me to do any VFX shot is impossible. Probably like 3 years ago was impossible for me, because to do it यार ब्लेंडर लर्न करना पड़ेगा, ब्लेंडर का प्रीमियर लर्न करना पड़ेगा, ब्लेंडर के भी कितने इफेक्ट
spend like
सीखने
6
पड़ेंगे.
months and
6 months में भी, और वो भी like 6
too,
months
yeah.
डेडिकेटेड लर्निंग.
Yeah,
मतलब मैं
yeah.
अपनी जॉब वॉब छोड़ छाड़ के मैं डेडिकेटली ब्लेंडर सीखूं, लाइटिंग सब कुछ सीख जाऊं, फिर प्रीमियर पे भी सब कुछ सीख जाऊं. और इससे अच्छा है प्रीमियर, अब मैं ब्लेंड उस पर आफ्टर अपने, लाइक, फॉर एग्जांपल आई कैन जस्ट गो एंड वर्क ऑन लूमा लैब्स एंड जस्ट राइट द प्रॉम्प्ट्स and create it. My end goal was anyways to create it, was not to be a blender champion. My job was to create that particular piece that I had a vision for. So that's how the game will get changed. Like, if you're focused on care, I want to become Photoshop champion, so that tool is gonna, all tools is gonna get evolved some other time later. So if your, like, critical design thinking is right, you are able to solve the briefs in this way. You are thinking right, you are applying the right idea to it. So he, like, it's good.
Yeah. What are your favorite brands right now? I mean, any interesting brands or products that you've been seeing, like companies, stuff like that?
Yeah, I to only am seeing like AI companies these days. Like the way those products are built, like all my referencing is gone into that direction. I don't know why. Like Midjourney is such a amazing, like Midjourney is like the go-to for all image generation thing, right? And the kind of styling and all it can generate is like next level. But the advertising they do is like so ugly. If you see any of the Midjourney ad now on your YouTube, you'll see ki, what the fuck is this Midjourney ka ad? It's so ugly. It's like a, like कोई local होता है ना, जैसे कोई, you get a Chinese का ad कि वो वाइपर खरीद लो या वो खरीद लो, इतना घटिया क्वालिटी एड Midjourney वाले रन कर रहे हैं. तो
That's surprising.
भयंकर सरप्राइजिंग, बहुत
Okay.
नेक्स्ट लेवल
I
सरप्राइज.
haven't seen
आई हैव
that.
सीन Midjourney का ऐड आता है मेरे यूट्यूब पे, और उसमें एक बंदा एक्सप्लेन कर रहा है, सो नाउ यू कैन क्रिएट वाटर कलर ब्रश आर्ट वर्क विद Midjourney, एंड आई एम सीइंग इज दिस
Maybe they're trying to cater like a different audience. Maybe like
why? I mean, like, it's
Yeah,
such
that's
such a
weird.
high quality tool,
Yeah.
used by every high quality. Obviously you can do
Absolutely love what Tatiana. There's this
Tatiana and
designer.
all,
I think she
हाँ.
works at Midjourney.
No,
that-
she
no,
works
okay.
at, I think, Tatiana. No, Tatiana doesn't work with anybody. So
Okay, okay.
basically,
I for the longest time I thought she was working with Midjourney because she was generating some intense original images
I
and like.
figured that out also how to do it, what they were doing as well. तो इसमें क्या है कि देखो, there are two ways to do it. You take up one platform, then you try to dig deep into just one that platform, right? You try to figure out everything around it. The more you do it, they will also reach out to you. You can reach out to them, send your work to them and ask them कि यार मेरे को अपने partner program में ले लो. If they take you into their partner program, तो फिर they will also give you beta updates and all that. और वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, टाटियाना, देयर आर 2-3 मोर पीपल्स इन द सेम वर्ल्ड हु आर डूइंग बेसिकली, क्या कर रहे हैं वो लोग कि दे आर मेकिंग ऑल दिस, दे आर डिस्कवरिंग बेसिकली लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट स्टाइलिंग्स फ्रॉम द डेटाबेस एंड पोस्टिंग दैट. तो उस तरीके से इट्स बिकम लाइक अ ह्यूज थिंग कि यार उसका पार्ट हो देखो तो you'll see like क्या नेक्स्ट लेवल क्वालिटी इज कमिंग आउट.
I feel it's just there's so many tools, so much happening. Like the time you figure out, okay, oh, now I've mastered this pipeline, then suddenly there's some new tool. How you kind of navigating it and and like sticking to it. That okay, you know what, like, or maybe this is not the right time to kind of stick to one thing.
नहीं नहीं, आई थिंक अब आप थिंक ऑफ इट कि इफ़ यू आर लर्निंग ब्लेंडर, so you would know that all those tutorials were 10 years old.
Yeah.
So you have to follow those 100 tutorials or 200 tutorials or a 3-month course or 4-month course, and then you will learn to what level. यहाँ पर it's everything is like 1 week old. So, but the learning model remains same. You just follow the same 5 people who are doing regular updates. रोज एक नया update आएगा, you learn that and then you'll know something. पहले that course was like a predefined इतना लंबा चढ़ा course.
Yeah.
Abhi you just follow 2-3 people who are making those courses or making those regular updates. You follow them, whatever they are trying out, you also try out. और आप बना लो उस तरीके से. But the more, I think the more people are able to do the back end वाला part ना, अगर आप उसका awareness रखोगे तो you'll see a lot more. Don't just look at कि Google VO3 आ गया है तो अब कुछ possible है.
Yeah.
Look at कि पेपर जब आया ना तभी क्या possible है. क्योंकि अगर आप वो पेपर को देखोगे ढंग से तब you'll see कि मतलब उस पेपर प्लस 3 अदर पेपर को मिलाकर गूगल VO3 इज देयर.
Yeah.
तो इफ यू रीड दोज काइंड ऑफ अपडेट्स एज वेल कि व्हाट न्यू टेक आर कमिंग अप, व्हाट फ्रेश समथिंग इज रिलीज्ड फ्रॉम प्योर इंजीनियरिंग पर्सपेक्टिव, नॉट इवन लाइक अ broad
Yeah.
perspective, तब you will be able to build those workflows also in your and your thinking will also kind of apply.
Yeah.
तब you are able to build like abhi it's so easy to like go and Google VO3 and then ask for generic thing and it will enhance the prompt and then just do audio, video and everything. Now Google VO3 is not available for you. You want to do the same quality. So how would you do it? Now you have to think, acha, the first step is to write the detailed prompt. Second step to enhance the prompt properly. Then I have to do video generation separately, then audio generation separately, merge everything together and then combine into a video. तो पाइपलाइन आपको खुद को ब्रेक करना पड़ेगा. बट अगर आपको बेस ही नहीं पता है तो फिर वो आपको पता ही नहीं पाइपलाइन क्या वाली है.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, Vibhor. So, all right, that takes us to the end of our conversation. What's where are we heading? What's I think a lot of things that were initially like a cheating and like a scared word. I think now we are in a stage where people are kind of accepting that okay, no, it's here to stay. What is the future that you think is the right way forward, especially around not just about design, but like building a brand, building a company.
So I think these companies who are like who have their own model, like for example Adobe and all, are giving you models based on your own data also.
Oh yeah, I recently showed that. I think Coca-Cola did one thing where
Coca-Cola ने recently तो Coca-Cola को I don't know which company partnered with them, but basically the way you create the model of training and all that was given as a plugin in Adobe. So they can upload their own assets, all ship those assets into that plugin. The plugin will use that data set to learn, and once it has learned something and then it will generate new things. So basically it's like you have just a wrap like open package of OpenAI या फिर Midjourney. अभी you are relied on Midjourney का data set and that's why you are generating, and then Midjourney data set बनाया है कि चुराया है was the complication. अगर आपने data डाला है और this technology is there to analyze data and present it out as a output, तो फिर बात खत्म हो गई. Now there is no legal claim to it. तो सब companies जो हैं OpenAI and all that will give you these kind of tools. For example now Gemini, Copilot, OpenAI are doing enterprise licenses. उसमें your data remains your own data. So it has a basic knowledge from the internet, whatever it has, everything. But your data remains in your own world, and it is used for your own training. So now whatever you are creating from your own data is your own legal right. So it's just a normal technology of processing in and processing out. So a legality wala thing will also be solved. But for a creative side, I would say like the I think जो अपना pipeline था पूरा of going into Shutterstock and finding things, and then uh, will only थोड़ा सा become कि you only look at थोड़ा सा mood board, you understand the brief, absorb the brief, bring in your own ideas accordingly, find the right mood board on Pinterest or real life reference or whatever it is, and then just find different tools to, क्योंकि वो tool unite अभी तक हुए नहीं है, Adobe and all सब अलग अलग tools हैं. That's what I think major people feel a problem is कि because the all tools are different, there is no unified picture of all the tools. तो वो थोड़ा सा सॉल्व हो जाएगा थोड़े टाइम बाद कि सब चीज़ें यूनाइट होकर एक जगह पर आ गई हैं.
Yeah.
और फिर आप उस टूल को यूज़ करो एंड यू मेक वट एवर यू वांट टू मेक. बट स्टेप तो तब भी वही रहने वाला है. इफ़ यू डोंट आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द ब्रीफ ऑल टुगेदर तो फिर तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot for being on the podcast, Vibhor. It was a great one.
नाइस नाइस नाइस, थैंक्स फॉर हैविंग मी.